Great. So we are deepening into our seat. Feel free to even relax back in your chair or your seat, wherever you are. The luscious, long breaths are going in and they're extending as they're going out. You're feeling the outer world before and after this time together just melt away and cascade down a stream of another time and place. And we're bringing ourselves really deeply into now. Almost as if we're entering the very center pinpoint of a mandala, which is a mandala is a sacred geometric form that is a replication of the whole cosmos. So here we are finding ourselves in the middle of our cosmos, this real peaceful place. You might call it the eye of the storm, in which when we create this sacred space, the center point, the stillness, deeply connecting with our core, our source of power, we are able to see things more for what they are, and we're able to tap into our innate truth and wisdom, which is the place we want to navigate our life from. So that's what we're going to just feel and tap into right now. And maybe you're familiar with this core source of wisdom of yours, or maybe you're not. And that's okay. The more we do this, the stronger we get, the more quickly we can access our source of wisdom and power. So go ahead and just let the mind relax and go deep into your belly, into that gut instinct, that animal, sensory, intuitive part of yourself where logic doesn't really have a place. And just notice how you feel when you tap into that. The face and mind soften. We're deepening into that power core source spot. The eyes are resting deep into your head and then sinking down. And you're starting to feel the world around you slowing down. So we can imagine that we're taking ourselves in our wisdom posture, connected with our real core source of power and intuitive wisdom. With our mind, we are going to enter a sacred space together. It's so beautiful to have the power and numbers. So imagining that all of us together are creating a sacred space together. And you can feel what that's like for you. You can imagine visually what that's like for you. The sounds, the smells, the feelings. I'd like us to all feel deeply grounded and rooted in ourselves, and even more so rooted into the earth. As if we are together sending roots down into the earth to anchor deeply this temple. So that naturally we ground for our benefit, but everything that we churn and all the blessings we create together today actually are going directly into our earth. She really can use that assistance right now, that healing support. So from that place that we're in, this beautiful, still, sacred space, ask yourself what in particular you came here for today. And that might include what you would like to walk away with, or, you know, anything. Just ask that wisdom voice yours, what brought me here today? And bring it into a concise few words, or maybe just a very brief sentence. And then we're going to bring hands to prayer at the heart. Eyes are still closed. We've established our temple today for this little journey together. And then go ahead and raise the eyes gently and see who is creating this temple with you. For those of us who can see our beautiful faces. If you feel like sharing your face, that would be great, even if it's just for a moment, and then you can go back into hiding. Connie Teal, she's a new woman here. Welcome, welcome. So I'm going to unmute everybody, and I'd love everyone to just share their few words or their brief sentence as to what brought you here. And I'm just going to call you in order of how I see the images here. So Wendita, you're actually first. Hi.
Hi. Just coming back to center was what brought me here today.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yay. Do you feel like you got there already?
Yes.
I do too.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Shannon, you're next.
What brought me?
Someone has music. Hold on. Someone has music going on. If you can turn that down, that'd be great. Or I'll just mute everybody again. Okay, here we go. I'm going to mute everyone. So muting everyone and then unmuting Shannon. Hi.
Hi. What brought me here today is the opportunity to center myself. I've been wanting to have my practice, but with all of the fluctuations, I haven't really committed yet to connecting with myself and also connecting with my mom and another good friend of ours, Connie. So we're able to connect across geographies and have this experience together.
So we have mom, daughter, friend all connecting here right now.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Good going, ladies. That is wonderful. Yay. Good reason. Okay. And then Nita, is that right? So Nita, you're next here in the lineup, and then it's Teal. Is that right? How we say Teal?
Connie.
Okay. So anyway, Nita, go ahead and tell us what brought you here.
For one, my daughter Shannon gifted this to us to learn more knowledge about my body, my feelings, my mind, and togetherness. Right.
Wonderful. Thank you. That's good enough reason for me. All right. So then we have Connie. It's not saying that you're muted. So if you want to just tell us what brought you here, if you're there, you don't have to. By the way, everyone always is welcome to abstain from chiming in. Maybe Connie's not there, so I'm going to go to Katie. Hi, love.
Kelly.
Hi.
Yeah, what was coming to me as we were sitting together was the words were to serve God. And I'm thinking about maintaining the sanctuary space to hear and know what is going to be best for me to do as I go about the rest of my day.
Wonderful. Yes, divine guidance and connection. Beautiful. Miss Danielle, do you want to share what brought you here today?
Just to continue to build on what I know about meditation and connecting within myself and finding peace through setting like intentions and making sure to put time away to do this.
Wonderful. Yay. So I'll share with you all what brought me here. Well, I mean, there's actually lots of things that brought me here today. But without planning, there's a 3-part series going on. We're in part 2 right now. And I'm responding to what I've been hearing are some needs right now from people. And largely, I call it wrangling the mind. The mind, and I keep saying that there's a lot of things I'm offering right now, and I keep reminding us that the mind is designed to run. It is designed to think and problem solve and like multitask and all this stuff. Yeah, what brings me here is that it is one of my greatest joys to support people in finding their center, their strength, and that comes from tools. From one, gaining tools and developing strengthening tools. And then the tools actually become integrated as parts of us. So we go from practicing to being. And so right now, it seems like these meditative sacred practices are extremely useful. And one of the gifts of this challenging time is a lot of things that we've been putting off because life was just fine. Now life is not fine. Now it's actually, we need to get to work to stabilize the present and prepare for our future, and even better yet, craft the future that we've been wanting our whole lives. So that's what brings me here today, is to give you little plugs of something to take home with you. And then of course, if this is something you want to expand on, let me know. Like, I totally love to nerd out on this arena. As far as you want to go, I'm available for that. So feedback is wonderful. So anyway, what inspired this 3-part series, though, specifically the details of it, is my first ongoing Buddhist teacher, Lama Tsultrim Malayoni, last week gave a Tara, a mantra practice, that for a Tara practice that's specifically for dissolving viruses. So there's 21 Taras. Each Tara has her own specific duty. And this 20th Tara, her duty is specifically to dissolve viruses. And so I was inspired to do this 3-part series. One, give you a tool to stabilize your mind, which really you have to first come to center before diving into practice, if you want the practice to really be powerful. 2, today, setting a sacred space in order to again optimize a meditation or mantra practice, having your sacred space. So in Sanskrit, asana, it means your practice seat. And it's really the base of every spiritual practice we do. Even in yoga asana, which is the moving postures, it's still called asana. It's still called your seat. So even though you're moving around, still asana is the foundation for that movement practice of yogic postures. And then creating a sacred space. So that's today, is the seat and the space. And then next week, I don't think I've actually even really taught in depth about what we're going to do next week. Next week, we're going to talk about mantra. So mantra is sacred sound, chanting, and also the use of mala, the prayer beads. Wendy, are you listening? So we're going to talk about the different kinds of mantra, bija, mula, gayatri. We're going to talk about how to use your prayer beads. We're going to talk about how to use the breath, how to bring the sound into the body. So we're going to go in a direction that I've never gone before. And again, it's going to be short and sweet. And then if people want to go deeper with it, I'd love to do that. So just, give me feedback on that. So, and the reason being for this 3-part is so that when you get to that Tara practice, you have got all of the essential keys to make that Tara practice the power that it's intended to be. And so whether or not you do the Tara practice, that's your own choice, but I highly encourage the more of us that are doing this Tara practice and are actually bringing this Tara energy into the earth, the old systems of prayer and intention and all that stuff, it's actually designed to work. And when we have these keys that give it power, then it just makes it work in its optimum way. So if you're wondering what the Tara practice is, I have it both on my Facebook pages, both the pages, and in the email that I sent out. And then I think we can do that together at some point, maybe next week. Okay. So yeah, and feedback is really great. So if you guys want things, email me, plop them in the threads. It's more apt to get to me if you email me. Okay, so let's see here. Moving right along. So the ancients, so what part of what Temple Tribal Fusion is about is remembering and actually integrating the wisdom of the ancients. So the ancients understood that for a healthy reality of our human experience, that means there needs to be a healthy integrated reality with the world and cosmos as a whole. The animals, the elementals, meaning the spirits of the land and the trees and all that such. Having respect with the cycles of the earth and sun and moon and astrologically and all these things, all of these elements that we are bound in and integrated in like an ecosystem. And it's only been, what, 150, maybe 200 years since white folks have been on the west side of the USA and eradicated the native wisdom of this part of the world. And then we can talk about the entire world really is this modern, like really headstrong presence has taken over the world and has really forgotten about these really basic principles of being in relationship with everything around us. So even though the modern world has forgotten, it doesn't mean these energies have fully disappeared. Yes, a lot of them have, but the importance of having a relationship with something that's greater than us, may it be God, goddess, spirit, universe, whatever you want to call it, on the grander scale, but also on the, right here and now. The Sanskrit term is called devas. We might call it elementals in English, ancestor energies. So there's these presence of these energies that just because we're modern and forgotten doesn't mean they've gone away altogether. So in regards to building our sacred space and our practice seat, there's a couple things like, why are we gonna do this? Why are we creating sacred space and a practice seat? Well, one of the answers right now is because we want to optimize our practice. And our practice may be our mind practice, our breath practice, they go together. Our prayer mantra practice, that's kind of like really amplifying practice because we get vibration, we get our winds in, we get our mind, our speech. So it's the foundation. We're going to build from our seat, the environment, our sacred space altar, and then we have a place to do practice. So what I wanted to do, and before I move from that, I'm not making this stuff up. Every culture in the world, in their old ancestry, created sacred space and prayed and had some sort of practices that relate to that. And if anyone finds a culture whose ancestors didn't do that, please let me know. I would be fascinated to hear about it. So what the world is needing right now is to return to that integrated state of balance and respecting the sacred, respecting the land, respecting the wisdom of the ancients, respecting ourselves as animals and like participants in all of this. So what we do for ourselves, yes, finding the stability of body, spirit, mind is really wonderful for ourselves right now. But it's the more of us that can do it, it radiates and literally will affect everybody. So I am going to do something I haven't done before. I'm actually going to take you to my Deva ancestor elementals altar. And during this time of challenge that we're all in together, I've actually, like many of us, gotten to some things that I've been meaning to get to. And one of them is establish this kind of altar. I have altars all over my house for different reasons. I have my Tibetan practice altar, my abundance altar, and this one is I have my yogini altar. This one is specifically to the devas of the land. The property that I live in not very long ago was a raw piece of land, trees, grasses, sure there were animals, and then they got evacuated, and now I have a house here. But I feel that. I know that my area probably had Native people on it, and I feel that. And I want them to know, especially now, they have a safe place here with me. So I'm gonna light this and show you what I do in the morning. I do it every morning. I set the tone of my home every morning as a sacred space. It supports me, but it also is really honoring what's going on in the world right now. So a lot of people of these old timer mind would say part of what's happening on the planet is there has just been such disrespect and negating, or just like not even thinking about the needs of the planet, herself, ourself as a thriving being. And I'll tell a story, and I don't want to talk too much. I want to really open this up to all of us and questions and stuff. But my Tibetan teacher recently just told me a story. So now I have a different teacher. Lama Tsultrim was my original one many years ago. But my current Daikini teacher told me about her husband, and her husband is Tibetan. She's a Westerner, but he's a Tibetan. And the Tibetan tradition of living, many Tibetans traditionally were nomadic. So that means they're cruising around the Himalaya and like vast open land, not seeing other families for days and days, and their yurt with their animals and pasturing and all that kind of stuff, and just living really raw and roots and simple. So my teacher's husband is only about 60, early 60s. So this was not long ago. And so anyway, he was a young boy, and he got on the horse. He and his brothers got on the horses and went out and visited the closest friend. And the friend had acquired, and they barter and stuff. And the friend had acquired a battery-operated radio, an electronic device, and they were just fascinated. They'd never seen a battery-operated electronic device. So anyway, they traded, and this man, then a boy, brought it back to the family. He was all stoked, first time seeing something like that, sounds coming out of it. So he brings it back thinking the family's going to be all jazzed. And the father, who was usually super tepid, he only saw the father get mad a couple times, flips out. The father flips out and he says, "Take that thing away from here. It's going to disturb the spirits." And the kid was like, "What?" And the father really freaked out and was like, "Get that thing out of the house and take it back tomorrow." So anyway, they only got a moment to play with the radio and share the sounds coming out of it. So that night, in the middle of the night, they're woken to screeching sounds to one of their horses. So they open the door, and the horse is like flipping out, screeching, screaming, runs full barrel to the front door and drops dead. And it was their finest horse of the lot. And I really feel that. I feel that the state of affairs with the EMFs and the disrespect and the phones and the cell towers and it just has hit a point of breakage. And that is really, I feel we need to pray. We need to let the spirits know they're not completely abandoned. Or even just let each other know, to the people that are out there suffering and, you know, really having a hard time, you're not alone. There are people, whether or not you ever meet them, we are praying for you as a collective. I'm going to shush now and I'm going to take you to my altar. So let's see, how are we going to do this? So the elementals like, you know, elements from the outdoors. So there's, let me see here. So we have, yeah. So we have this fun, pretty altar. Wendy, you'll see some things here from you. I'm getting in the name. Then I have the theme. So there's crystals and stones, and there's a shell, and there's bark from a tree. There's all sorts of fun stuff here. This is a beautiful book reminding about the wisdom of the ancients, daughters of the earth. At night, it's really beautiful. I get this going. So what I've been doing is every morning I come in. Let me see if I can plop this down. Oh, yeah, look at that. It's gonna be a little odd. Hey, okay. So I get my candle, and you know, fairies, I know this might be really far out for a lot of people, but this is the way it was until not very long ago, relatively speaking, a few hundred years. But sounds, we just want to create a sweet space. Now, whether or not you create an ancestor or an elementals altar, it doesn't matter, but a place for you. What inspires you? What creates when you look at it? You're just like, oh, that's so nice. Or when you sit down, you know, what scents? Do you get your diffuser filled with sandalwood oil or something, or rose oil? So finding things that when you glance at it, it just is soothing and inspiring. Sound. So we're creating like a sensual experience with your sacred space altar. So sound is one of them. Smell is another. Sight. And then feeling, like a nice cushy seat. Could be whatever. It doesn't have to be a formal pillow. It could be a cushy blanket or a fur or whatever. And then I just really sincerely, I talk and I like invoke and I do all this stuff, and just, I'm telling the spirits right now, I'm like, you have a safe space here. You are welcomed. Those who are sweet and kind are welcome here. May you have a sweet sanctuary to feel safe while the world is getting cray-cray. And it's nice to offer, if your lungs can handle it, it's nice to offer a little smoke. So I offer sage. But I do have my diffuser going with oils all day long, especially these days. We can talk about, actually, George is talking about oils today at 1 o'clock and diffusing and optimum oils for this very time in our collective experience. So sage is an herb, a plant that has been used for who knows how long eons as a space cleanser and kind of almost a vibe shifter. So, what is it called? Lemon. Anyway, it's a really great thing to have in moderation. So yeah, just, just being present. So let's see. That's what I wanted to cover pretty much in this little just bite-sized experience together is seat, your asana, altar, and then lastly, just briefly on meditation. So one of the services that I offer on a regular basis that I absolutely love is helping people start a meditation practice. And so a lot of people are like, well, I want to do it, but I have a seat and I got all the stuff, but what do I do when I get there? Or like, when do I do it? Or how long do I do it? So does anyone have any of those questions, by the way? If you do, raise your hand. Okay, no one's raising hand, but there's a couple ladies blocked out. Well, a lot of people come to me and ask this question. So my first answer would be the breath practice and the meditation practice we did last week, I consider one of the very fastest methods to balance the mind and the nervous system. So here is the video. I'm plugging it right here. Here's the video. It's free. It's on YouTube. It's very handheld, step-by-step. I highly recommend just use that and strengthen that. And so first, we'll make it really simple. We're going to say step 1, create your meditation seat. So that means in a private, quiet environment that can be undistracting. And some people don't have that in their home. So you do your best, maybe at the end of your bed or whatever. If you need to, you tell your family, hey, I need, turn the phone to airplane or whatever it's called, set the timer and set it and tell yourself, I'm going to do a whole 10 minutes and I'm not going to worry about time because this thing's going to tell me when that 10 minutes is done or 20 minutes, whatever. And same with the family, just be like, family, leave me alone for just these 10 minutes. So you got your seat, you got your time, so your frame of time, and then now you've got your breathing meditation practice. If you want to take it next level, you create an altar, or even just a table and a candle is great. If you want to take it even next level, you make offerings, and you can offer to whatever is sacred and inspiring to you. Does everyone have access to that link right there? If you don't, let me know. And then I'm actually going to put that on my Facebook page today, my Temple Treble Fusion Facebook page. So tomorrow, Sundays is when I'm going to put most of the links from the week. So if you ever want to know what happened during the week, Sunday afternoons, go to my Temple Treble Fusion page. You'll get the YouTube links, or just subscribe to YouTube and you'll be notified when those are uploaded. So yeah, the how is, I'm giving you the hows on how to meditate in that video. The what is you're sitting down and you're taming the mind on your seat. The when is great. So traditionally, yogic hours, optimum yogic hours are right around the sunrise. Or really, if you're not going to get around the sunrise, before you get running into things. So I say before you turn this thing on. So the mind is super activated in the day. So mornings are ideal, or this breathing practice in particular is really great to help sleep. So before bed, after this thing has been turned off. And so pre-bed is another great time to do an in-depth meditation practice. Now, this breathing practice that I've given here is great anytime your mind starts running away from you. I've even done it in traffic when I'm flipping out in California, stuck in traffic. I'm like, okay, breathe. So, you know, pull it out whenever you want. I think that is all I'm going to say today, but I'm going to open it up to Q&A. So everyone's unmuted. Oops. Okay, there we go. So if anyone has questions, comments, this is now the time to do it.
No question.
Thank you for the reminder around having an altar for celebrating and honoring the elements. And I appreciate seeing your own altar. I know altars can be very personal, so thanks for letting us see the world. And I'm also grateful for the meditation video that you just sent. I'm excited to commit to the next week. I just looked at when the sunrise happens, and looks like it's happening between 7 and 7:30, which is not too early. I mean, so I'm excited to set up my altar and to commit to a meditation practice between 7 and 7:30. Thank you.
Yay. Yeah, that sounds wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. Who else? Everyone's gonna get a chance to say something. Who wants to say something next? So I'm gonna say either ask a question or share any thoughts or maybe share an experience or yeah. So who wants to go next? Or am I just gonna call on you ladies? Everyone's gonna go once. Okay, Danielle just got a big smile. So you're next.
Well, I love incorporating pranayama in my yoga and meditations. So I was hoping maybe at some point we could jump into maybe some different, like multiple pranayama exercises and breath work. I feel like that's a really great way to get me into the meditation, like between my active mind, like letting go of that monkey mind to meditation, which is, I feel like a lot of us struggle with. So I bet that you have a lot of magic there that you could share with us.
Totally love it. Yeah. Great. Thank you for requesting. That helps me out. Yes, yes. So this first one that I sent the link to is really such a good foundational one. It's that we'll you know, start there and we will keep going.
Perfect.
Yeah. Who else wants to share? Next, that is, because we're all going to share.
I don't know why I lost the video connection.
Oh, who's that? Is that Wendy? Anyway, Katie, why don't you share anything or questions? So yeah, we're doing questions or we're doing comments. What's alive for you, Katie, with this?
I'm looking forward to talking about mantras next week. I love words, vibrations.
Yeah, I really thought about you with that one. So I'm excited to share that with you too. Yeah. Wendy, do you want to share anything?
So really looking forward to next week with mantras and the mala. And I love this breath teaching that you taught us last week. And yeah, so super excited. Thank you.
Yay.
I gotta run, ladies.
Bye, darling.
Thank you.
Nita, how about you?
I went to the restroom, so I missed out on the last couple of minutes.
Okay. I just wanted to ask if you have any questions or what's up for you after, you know, hearing all this, and yeah, just curious
Well, I've done some meditation, little, but looking forward to learning more and creating my altar space. I'm excited for that.
Wonderful. So let's see, and I think Connie maybe is not nearby to share, which is fine. And Marilyn can't talk, so that's all right. So here's my suggestion is, create at minimum, your practice seat. And if it's something that needs to move around, that's fine, but it's really great if you can, and let's just experiment for a week at least. If you can confirm what your practice seat is, so one thing, and then even better yet, confirm what your seat, the physical seat itself is, and where, and if you could keep it in one place, that really anchors it. So that'd be step one, creating your seat. Step two would be, if you want to make it, next level, you create a little sacred space, not required, but that's a wonderful suggestion. But step number two would be practice that pranayama, and then come back next week and let me know how it goes, and then we'll get into the mantra practice. So we're building. So it's the seat, the breath and mind, and then the mantra practice. So that's going to be super awesome to do those building blocks together, and then rock out the Tara practice next week. So yeah, so if you have a mala next week, bring it. If you have a few, more than one, bring it. We're going to talk about that. And I think that's it for me right now. Anyone else want to say anything else before we go our ways into the day?
I loved seeing your elemental altar today.
I keep adding to it. I'm loving it. Yeah.
Little special things that you've collected.
Yeah. Anyone else before we sign off? So this will be a recording that you can tap into anytime or share with your friends that you want to bring next week. It'll be on my YouTube page. Right now you can look up Tenley Wallace and it'll say Temple Tribal Fusion at the top. But yeah, my Facebook page is going to be the go-to for everything. So, and then lastly, if you want to get on my newsletter, which gets all the super detailed info and special benefits and stuff, I'm going to give you that in case you don't have that yet. TempleTribalFusion.com. You just click that. Oops, sorry. That's to Marilyn. To everyone. You click that, and then I'm going to be sending out newsletters pretty regularly these days, just because there's a real need right now for us to move and breathe and be in sacred space together and all these practices. So, all right. Have a wonderful rest of your day, beautiful women.
Thank you.
So nice to see you all.
Love you.
Love, love, love. Yay, blessings. Bye for now.